We met, first of all, over the phone. And it was one of those things, it's such a difficult thing to have to ask the questions that you need to ask in order to do her justice in the film. You know, her husband had been murdered, you know, pretty much a year before we first spoke. And it was, you know, you're going to be talking about intense memories and romantic things, you know, hard things to discuss. But Taya was so open and loving and kind of from the offset said, you know, I know you need to ask these questions and anything I can give you, I will. And we just loved each other from the start.
Yeah, immediately.
Now, of course, Taya, the book was already out, Chris, and I guess the movie was sort of in play first, right, before
Correct.
his death. When did you find out, though, that Sienna was going to play you?
You know, it was after Clint was chosen as the director, and he said he wanted to meet me first before he cast somebody. And, you know, I remember talking to people at, you know, Jason Hall, and they were asking me, who would I want to play me? And I was like, you know, I have no idea. The only person I could think of was Sandra Bullock. You know, I'm like, I don't know, she's kind of goofy, she can, you know, cry well, and, you know, all that stuff. But, you know, and they were like, yeah, no, that's not going to work for this. And so...
She's got brown hair.
Yeah, well, she's got brown
Terrible
hair.
casting agent.
She lives in Austin. I mean, yeah, throw her in there. Yeah, she does, yeah. So,
all right, sorry, Taya.
yeah, exactly. And they brought me somebody from freaking
London,
out of country.
like,
yeah,
what?
exactly.
She spoke to me, she was like...
No. But you know what? So I said, look, the only thing I truly, if I had my way, it would be somebody who's experienced some sort of heartbreak in their life, and that somebody that preferably is a mother. But I know actresses are supposed to be able to play anything. I just thought that would make it a little bit more real and powerful. Knowing Sienna like I know her now, she could play something she's never experienced before, clearly. But I maybe I just needed that reassurance that somebody had that kind of heart or that kind of wisdom in their life. And so they cast Sienna, and, you know, I was immediately looking at pictures, you know, and so here she is, this, like, gorgeous, blonde, you know, beautiful human being, and I'm thinking, well, that's kind of cool. Like, you know, I'm going to have somebody totally hot play me, and then they totally dumbed down her looks for the movie. And I was like, I don't know if I should be offended by this, or like, you know, I'm like, seriously? Like, you know, when somebody plays, you like glam it up.
No, because I
mean?
just had a baby in it, so that was, a lot of that was my decision.
Yeah,
It's
it was
glamorous
good.
at the
totally
end.
real. No, it's
but
totally
the
real.
first post-baby, like, we're not looking our best at that
Right,
point.
exactly, right. I mean, I wore Jimmy Choo's out of the hospital, but no,
Did you?
Girl, I can't even afford it. Jimmy Choo's.
I went for the pink velour tracksuit. I was like, I want to...
Yes, no, that actually is very, very true, though, after you have a baby, clearly. I mean, I'm being somewhat, you know, silly about this, but no, it was very appropriately done for the life and the events that were going on during that time. And the first time that I talked to her, and everybody after they saw her audition for the role called me and said, like, no, she nailed it. Like, absolutely, like, there's no doubt this is the person. And so then when I talked to her the first time on the phone, I was like, oh man, this is so cool, because it felt really, truly very natural, and I could tell that she has the heart and the soul and understands things on a much deeper level, if that makes sense. And I think you can talk to some people who are listening and going, okay, no, I can do this or that. And it was just, you know, Sienna has a depth truly in her soul, in her character, who she is. And so that alone made me more comfortable. And when I would talk about funny things, we laughed, you know. When I talk about sad things, we cried together. So it was just really an honor to have her bring our story to the screen, truly.
And of course, Sienna, there's a responsibility when you're playing a real person.
Yeah, there's a huge responsibility. We all felt completely invested in the story and wanted to do right by Chris and Taya and their family. And I think, you know, we were aware of the fact that this will probably play a hand in how the children remember their father. You know, it was a hugely important story to get right. And knowing that Taya could then watch the film afterwards was really daunting because, yeah. But you can't, at that point, at a certain point, you just have to trust your director, and it being Clint Eastwood, you just do, so.